deep in the forest. She dug a grave. Not for a stranger, but for her own twin sister. Unconscious. Silent. Buried by jealousy. This was not war. This was envy. A sister willing to bury blood, just to steal a destiny. She thought the earth would hide her crime. But destiny was awake, and what followed would shake the village forever. In the ancient Igbo village of Abio, where the evening moon touched the rooftops like a silver blessing, a strange wind swept through the compound of Mama Ijeoma. Women returning from the stream paused. Goats bleated restlessly. The big Irako tree behind her hut groaned as though something old had awakened. For that night, Ijeoma, the kind, soft-spoken wife of Okeke the village hunter, went into labor. The midwives hurried in with calabashes of hot water and herbal smoke, but the moment her first baby slipped into the world, every lamp in the hut flickered. She came with peace, the oldest midwife whispered as the baby girl blinked up at her. See her face, calm like the river at dawn. They named her Ciara. But only moments later, the lantern flames trembled again, this time violently. A cold breeze pushed through the windows, even though the night was still. The second baby arrived wailing loudly, tiny fists clenched, eyes sharp and fiery like she had stepped out of a quarrel. The midwife stepped back, shaken. "Huh, this one came fighting," she muttered. They named her Simdi. 2 twins. Identical faces. Opposite destinies. And above the hut, the second moon, a rare celestial sign in Abio, hung silently in the sky. The elders later whispered, "Twins born under the second moon are destined to fight for one destiny. Only one will shine." But that night, nobody understood what the ancestors were trying to say. As the twins grew, their differences sharpened like a machete on a stone. Ciara, the calm one, moved like a gentle breeze. She fetched water before sunrise, swept the compound, and sang old folk songs with a sweetness that made even the birds pause. Simdi, however, walked like thunder. Her footsteps came with impatience. She grew bold, stubborn, and restless, always looking for where attention was shining, so she could drag it back to herself. Whenever Ciara was praised, Simdi's eyes tightened. Whenever Ciara smiled, Simdi found a reason to frown. Villagers began saying, "Wherever light stands, shadow must lie beside it." Mama Ijeoma noticed something else, something darker. There were days Simdi's eyes glowed with a strange old fire, like a spirit was peeping through her. Other days she would talk to herself behind the hut, muttering to the wind, smiling at nothing, laughing when no one spoke. Ijeoma prayed for her. She bathed her with protective herbs. She tied red thread around her waist for peace. She sacrificed white fowls at the shrine for cleansing. But nothing softened Simdi's envy. And envy, if not broken early, grows teeth. Years passed like dry leaves carried by the harmattan wind. Then one sunny market day, a royal procession from a Calabar kingdom entered Abio. At the center rode Prince Daika, tall, elegant, and kind-eyed. He came searching for unique palm wine tappers with magic touch and rare herbalists, but fate led his eyes to Ciara. She was carrying firewood that slipped from her hands when she saw the royal horses. The prince rushed to help her pick them up. When she smiled shyly, something in his heart clicked into place. "That is the one," he said softly. He returned to the palace and told his guards, "Find out who she is. I want her hand in marriage." That evening, the village buzzed like a disturbed anthill. Ciara blushed. Ijeoma danced. Even the elders smiled. But one person stood in the doorway of their hut, watching silent. Simdi. Her jaw tightened. Her fists clenched like on the day she was born. Her heart twisted with a jealousy sharp enough to cut her breath. When she overheard the elders congratulating her sister, something snapped inside her, something that had been sleeping for years. Then she ran to her mother. "Mother, I want to be the one married to the prince." Her mother looked at her in surprise and confusion. "Simdi, how can I do that? The prince already chose your sister, and you should be happy for her. Besides, she's your older sister. It's good she is getting married before you." Ijeoma told her. Simdi went to find her twin sister, Ciara. She found her behind the hut feeding their goats. She smiled at her and said, "Ciara, sister, there's a favor I wish to ask of you." Ciara asked her what it was, promising to help her with it if she could. "I want to be the one to marry the prince. Would you let me marry him instead?" Simdi asked greedily. Ciara was speechless for a moment. Then she shook her head. "Simdi, that's a strange favor to ask of me. I also like the prince and would want to marry him since he chose me. Don't worry, your own man will come, okay?" Simdi didn't press any further. She simply turned and walked away with an angry face. Standing under the tree their compound, Simdi staring intently at Ciara sitting in front of the hut, her gaze full of jealousy piercing as she whispered, "If I cannot be chosen, I will make sure she is never chosen. If I cannot marry the prince, over my dead body will she marry him." And the shadow inside her opened its eyes. At dawn the next day, Ciara set out to fetch water. It was tradition for girls about to be betrothed to cleanse themselves at the river. But she made a mistake. She went alone. But Ciara was innocent. She did not suspect danger. Simdi followed secretly and silently, her steps soft like a hunter creeping behind prey. When Ciara bent down to fill her clay pot, water shimmering around her reflection, Simdi lifted a thick clay bowl. Her breathing grew heavy. Her vision blurred with rage. The shadow inside her smiled. She struck. The bowl cracked on Ciara's head. Ciara gasped, swayed, and collapsed. Simdi stared at her still body. Her heartbeat drummed wildly, but her face was cold. She whispered, "You will not walk into my destiny. I will walk into yours." She grabbed Ciara by the arms, dragging her into the deep bush where the forest swallowed sunlight. The branches above groaned as if the ancestors were watching. Simdi dug with trembling hands. A shallow grave, wide enough for a body, deep enough to hide a secret. Then she pushed Ciara inside, covered her with earth, and stood there panting, her hands shaking, her eyes wild. The forest went silent. Even the birds refused to sing. But she walked away, believing her shadow had finally defeated the light. What Simdi did not know was that someone was watching. Onoma, the young palm wine tapper, had been high up in a palm tree, fixing his rope. From there, he saw Simdi dragging a faint body, her own twin's body, through the forest. He saw the dust on her feet. He saw the shovel in her hand. He saw the fresh grave. And he saw her leave quickly, looking over her shoulder with guilt. Onoma's heart pounded. "No," he whispered. "This cannot be what I think." But the ancestors pushed him. His spirit would not let him walk away. He climbed down the tree and ran to the grave. The soil was still warm. He fell to his knees and dug with bare hands until his nails bled. Then he felt warm skin. Ciara, still breathing. Faint. Half buried. Half alive. Onoma carried her to his grandmother, Mama Onoma, a feared healer who understood the ways of spirits. The old woman touched Ciara's chest and nodded. "The innocent do not die easily," she said. "She carries light, and light cannot be buried." She worked on Ciara through the night, washing her with sacred leaves, chanting ancient prayers, fighting the darkness that tried to grip her spirit. Before dawn, Ciara opened her eyes. But she did not cry. She did not scream. She only whispered, "Simdi, my twin sister, wanted my life." And with that, destiny shifted. The village of Abio woke to a calm morning. But beneath that calm was the quiet footstep of a lie walking confidently into daylight. Simdi washed herself quickly at the stream, and packed her braids exactly the way Ciara always did. She patted her cloth, which was similar to Ciara's. Then she practiced Ciara's soft smile. She practiced the gentle tone. She practiced the humble walk. By the time she stepped into Abio village, she looked like Ciara. But she carried the spirit of a lie wrapped in stolen peace. Villagers greeted her with excitement. "Ah, Ciara, the bride of the prince. Welcome, our daughter. You are blessed beyond measure." Simdi lowered her eyes, pretending to be shy. But one person's heart trembled. Mama Ijeoma, their mother. As soon as Simdi stepped into the compound, Ijeoma rushed forward, smiling with motherly relief. But when she touched Simdi's arms, her smile slowly faded. Ciara, where is your sister? Ijeoma asked carefully. Cindy stiffened. She forced a small smile. She went to fetch palm leaves. She will return later. Ijeoma blinked. At that early hour? Without telling her mother? And without her twin? Twins in Abio never separated without a word. Ijeoma's voice dropped. Ciara, look into my eyes. Are you sure Cindy is safe? Cindy swallowed hard. Her throat felt tight. Yes, Mama, she whispered. But the heart of a mother is not fooled easily. Ijeoma traced her fingers across Cindy's palms. They were slightly rough. She looked at her feet, a little dusty, stained with forest mud in some places. In her hurry, she hadn't washed them properly. Where did you go this morning? She asked slowly. Cindy's body tensed like a caught thief. I walked by the stream, she lied. Ijeoma nodded slowly, but worry crawled into her heart like a cold shadow. By midday, Ijeoma became restless. Her other daughter still has not returned. She started going about asking people if they had seen Cindy, her other twin daughter. The villagers realized something was wrong. Only one twin was visible in the entire village. Women began whispering. Men frowned. Elders muttered ancient warnings. Twins are two halves of the same kola nut. If one is missing, something has gone wrong. Where is Cindy? Ijeoma stood in her hut, tears from panic already streaming down her cheeks. A small crowd formed in front of her hut. People began asking questions, loud, worried questions. Ijeoma stepped out, her voice trembling. My people, I have not seen Cindy since this morning. The villagers immediately organized a search. Young men grabbed lanterns and cutlasses. Women started checking river paths and forest trails. Elders offered prayers. Cindy stood in their midst, pretending to be worried, but inside her chest, her heart beat like a trapped drum. A young hunter approached her. Ciara, she's your twin sister. Did she say anything to you? Cindy forced tears into her eyes. I don't know where she is, she whispered. The lie rolled effortlessly from her lips. But the ancestors heard it. Drums suddenly echoed from the village gate. Prince Daika had arrived. But instead of celebration, he walked into confusion. The prince frowned. What is happening? The elders explained. One of the twins is missing. Prince Daika's eyes grew sharp with concern. Where is Ciara? Cindy stepped forward quickly, lifting her voice gently. I am here, my prince. She lowered her gaze, acting shy. The prince relaxed a little. But he sensed something else, a strange coldness, like air refusing to settle around her. Still, he greeted her warmly. Do not worry, my dear. We will find your sister. Cindy smiled faintly, pretending to be touched. But inside her heart, panic spread like wildfire. That night, after the village-wide search ended with no success, Cindy slept in Ciara's place. But sleep refused her. Instead, a soft sound pierced the silence. Talk! 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 It came from beneath the ground. From beneath the earth. From beneath the lie. Cindy jolted up, shivering. Mama! Mama! She called softly. Ijeoma, who couldn't sleep because of her missing daughter, rushed inside. My child, what is it? Cindy looked around quickly, scared the sound would repeat. But it had stopped. She wiped her forehead. I just had a nightmare. But Ijeoma saw it. The terror behind her eyes. The guilt hiding in her trembling. Her worry deepened. Meanwhile, in Mama Onoma's healing hut, Ciara was slowly regaining strength. Onoma fed her weak broth. Mama Onoma washed the last grain of dirt from her hair. Wonders shall never end. This child survived the earth, the old healer whispered. The ancestors are not sleeping. Ciara's voice was faint. My twin, she tried to kill me. Mama Onuma nodded slowly. The spirit of jealousy is a fire that burns its owner first. Onoma clenched his fists. She will not get away with this. I saw her. I saw what she did. But Mama Onoma lifted a hand. Let destiny speak. A lie can walk bravely in the sun, but when night comes, truth rises like a cold wind. Ciara closed her eyes. The day of truth was coming. The next morning, Cindy went to the well to draw water. But as she leaned over, her reflection changed. Instead of her own face, she saw Ciara, pale, covered in soil, eyes wide open, mouth slightly parted. Cindy screamed and threw the pot away. Women ran toward her. What is it? Ciara, talk to us. Cindy trembled. Nothing. Leave me alone. But the whispers began. This one is not acting like Ciara. Why is she trembling like a guilty thief? Something is off. The village began to suspect, but they did not know what yet. Even though her twin was missing, the wedding preparation continued, and the search for her continued. During pre-wedding rehearsals, the maidens danced while the drums rolled like thunder. Cindy stepped forward to join them, but when she tried to dance, her feet stiffened. Her knees locked. Her body refused to obey. She stumbled and almost fell. The lead drummer hissed softly, Ciara is the best dancer. What could be wrong with her this time? Ijeoma rushed forward, fear choking her voice. My child, what is happening to you? Cindy forced a smile that shook at the edges. I am only tired. But then, she heard words whispered quietly, carried in the wind. You cannot dance in the clothes of the innocent. 2 nights before the wedding, Ciara hadn't been found. Ijeoma was dying with worry, torn between being happy for her daughter's coming wedding and sad about her still missing daughter. That night, Cindy sat before a bronze mirror plate, dressing her hair. She hummed to calm herself. Then the reflection flickered. Her face vanished. Ciara's face appeared, bruised, dusty, smiling sadly. Cindy's blood turned to ice. Then the reflection whispered, Cindy, I am coming. The mirror darkened. The room turned cold. Cindy screamed and ran to a corner, curling into herself. At last, guilt and fear swallowed her heart. She understood. Destiny was coming for payment. The morning sun rose over Abio village, but its light felt strange, dimmer, weaker, as if the heavens were preparing for something heavy. Birds chirped, but their songs were short. Palms rustled, but the wind was restless. Even the ancestors' shrines seemed to watch in silence. This was not a normal day. This was a day destiny had marked. The palace courtyard was decorated with palm fronds, fresh flowers, and bright cloth. Drummers tuned their drums. Maidens rehearsed the steps they had practiced for weeks. Elders sat under the irako tree, waiting to bless the union. Everything was ready, but the air was heavy. Prince Dika dressed slowly, adjusting his coral beads and embroidered wrapper. Yet something pricked his heart. He told his advisor, I feel as though I am walking into a storm. The advisor smiled politely but said nothing. Royal matters were not for him to question. Meanwhile, the village gathered with excitement. Everyone whispered, Ciara will soon be a queen. The gods have favored her. Abio village will be honored forever. Everyone waited for the bride. Everyone waited for Ciara. But the wrong girl was preparing herself in the hut. Cindy stood before the mirror again. She wrapped herself in fine red cloth. She placed coral beads on her neck. She painted her lips lightly. She smiled at her reflection. But the reflection didn't smile back. Instead, it frowned. Then the beads around her neck tightened suddenly, almost choking her. Cindy gasped, grabbing them with both hands. She tore them off, panting. Her hands shook. Her heart raced. But she forced herself to calm down. No, I cannot go back now. I have come too far. She stepped out of the hut. Everyone gasped at her beauty. But Ijeoma's heart dropped. She walked toward Cindy slowly, fear gripping her spine. My daughter, my spirit has not rested since your sister went missing. I should be happy you're getting married, but I feel as though I'm doing something wrong. Cindy inhaled sharply. Her eyes darted away. Mama, I too, am heartbroken that my sister hasn't been found. But this is no longer just my marriage. It has become a union of 2 kingdoms. One that will bring joy and pride to our Abio village. She placed a hand on her mother's shoulder. Mama, do not worry. We will find her. She will be safe. Ijeoma grabbed her arm. Her voice trembled. Ciara, you are right. Cindy, your sister will be all right, and we will find her. Cindy smiled stiffly. But before anyone else could speak, the drummers called. Bride, come forward. Cindy used the distraction to pull away. She walked toward the palace, but her feet felt heavy, as if the ground itself was warning her. Miles away, in Mama Onoma's hut, Ciara stood for the first time in days. Her legs trembled, but she stood tall. Onoma rushed to her side. "Easy, Ciara. You are still weak." Ciara shook her head. Her voice was soft but firm. "I must go home." Mama Onoma stepped forward, tying a protective charm around Ciara's wrist. "The ancestors have cleared your path. Go." Onoma grabbed his staff. "I will go with you." But Mama Onoma held his shoulder. "No. This journey, she must walk the final steps alone. Let destiny meet her with her own feet." Ciara nodded. Her eyes glistened, not with anger, but with truth. Dressed in a clear white wrapper, she stepped out of the hut. The forest wind blew gently. Leaves parted as she passed. Even the earth hummed beneath her steps. Destiny was escorting her home. Back at the palace, Cindy walked proudly into the courtyard. People cheered. "Ah, Ciara is beautiful. Future queen. Blessings follow you." Prince Daika smiled warmly and stretched out his hand to welcome her. But as Cindy stepped forward, the drums suddenly stopped. Every single drum. One, by one. Pum pum. Then silence. The air thickened. A cold wind swept across the courtyard. The elders stood abruptly. Their staff trembled in their hands. The chief priest frowned deeply. His cowrie-covered staff glowed faintly. "This is not a day for drums," he whispered. "The ancestors are restless." Cindy's skin crawled. Her heart pounded. Something moved behind her. Something was coming. From the far end of the village path, people suddenly pointed. "Who is that? Is that? No, it cannot be. It is her. It is Ciara." Everyone turned. Prince Daika dropped his hand, eyes widening. Cindy spun around. And there, walking calmly through the village gate, was Ciara. Alive. Breathing. Clean. Radiant. Her white wrapper glowed under the sun. The charm on her wrist shimmered. Her braids were neatly tied. Her skin was whole. She looked like a woman who had walked out of heaven. Villagers screamed in shock. "Oh my God! This cannot be." She was lost. She was missing for days. What is happening? Cindy stumbled backward, her lips trembling violently. No, no, this is not possible. Prince Daika stepped forward, confused and angry. He first stared at Cindy, then turned to the person his suddenly skipped for. Are you Ciara? What happened to you? Where have you been?" But Ciara's eyes were locked on one person. Cindy. Her twin. Her betrayer. Her shadow. She walked straight toward her. And Cindy's knees buckled. Cindy collapsed, shaking uncontrollably. Her voice cracked. Her breath hitched. What are you, Ciara? A spirit? A ghost? I buried you. I buried you. How are you standing here? The villagers gasped. Prince Daika's eyes widened in horror. You buried your sister? The elders stood up at once. Their mother, Ijeoma, walked out dazed, her face a mask of shock and disbelief. The chief priest grabbed his staff. Cindy, daughter of Ijeoma, this is your mouth speaking. Do not blame a spirit. Cindy sobbed uncontrollably. I didn't mean. She always took everything. Everything. The love. The respect. Even the prince. Her voice broke into screaming. I was supposed to shine. Not her. Ciara stepped closer, her voice calm like water. You wanted my destiny, but destiny is not something you can steal. She lifted her wrist, showing the ancestral charm glowing softly. The earth rejected your crime. The ancestors carried me out of the grave. At that moment, the villagers parted as Onoma stepped forward. He bowed before the chief priest. His voice was clear and strong. She speaks the truth. I saw Cindy walking away from a fresh grave that morning, shovel in hand, feet covered with soil. When she left, I dug with my bare hands and found Ciara inside, still breathing. Gasps filled the air. Ijeoma collapsed to the ground, wailing in pain. My children. My children. Oh God, what is this evil? Prince Daika looked at Cindy with horror and disappointment. You would kill your own sister for marriage? Cindy sobbed harder, shaking violently. But justice had already begun its walk. The king stood up. His voice was thunder. Cindy, you have committed an abomination. The attempted killing of your own twin. The bond of twins is sacred. The elders echoed. Sacred. The chief priest raised his staff. For this crime the ancestors decree. You shall be taken to the evil forest. You shall wander until your spirit finds repentance. You shall not return to Abio village again. Cindy screamed as the guards grabbed her. No. Please. Mama. Mama, help me. Igioma tried to stand but fainted. Her cries echoed in the compound. Cindy clawed at the ground, kicking, begging, shaking. But the earth was done with her. The guards dragged her away. Into the dark forest. Into the place where shadows eat their owners. Silence fell. Everyone turned to Ciara gently. Prince Daika walked toward her, eyes soft. I am grateful you survived. And I ask with respect, will you still allow me the honor of marrying you? Ciara looked at him with calm eyes. My prince, I accept, but not with pride. I accept with humility. Because destiny is deeper than beauty. The villagers clapped. The elders blessed her. Palm fronds swayed in agreement. And so, Ciara married Prince Daika, not as a proud bride, but as a woman who had walked through death and returned. Her story became a lesson. Her life became a proverb. As for Cindy, she walked the eerie forest for days, hungry and thirsty. She ate wild berries, slept under trees, suffered from cold, and drank her urine. Her cloth was torn, looking like a rag. Most times, she would hear whispers calling her name and proclaiming suffering upon her, and she would run until her legs ached. This became her life. Life of a wanderer, for as long as no one knew. The elders taught children. Jealousy is a spirit that eats its owner first. You can bury a person, but you cannot bury their destiny. Abio village never forgot. Ciara never forgot. Even the forest never forgot. Because on quiet nights, some say you can still hear Cindy's voice drifting through the trees, calling out in regret. But destiny does not answer. Destiny only watches. The end.